joined live now at the Philadelphia Soccer Coaches Convention with former Maryland Terps goalkeeper and Philadelphia Union goalkeeper, Mr. Thorne Holder. Thorne, how you doing?
I am great. Good evening, Todd. How are you?
I'm excellent, and shout out to Jeremy Sharp for reaching out and getting you on the podcast. And yeah, we were just talking with Coach Jim Curtin, and we were talking about some of the older players and everything. And yeah, we all love what the Union are doing now, but Jim said it's important that we don't lose who we are, and that those struggling days back in 2011, 2010, 2012, yeah, the fans might not want to talk about that, but it is who we are, and that's a part of the history. And so to get the chance to talk to you, I'm looking forward to this conversation. Billy, how you doing?
I'm good. Thorne, we've met a few times in the past.
Yes?
Yes. Always,
Remind me.
Always fun. You gave me one of your shirts one time after a friendly. I'm a collector. You give me your shirt one time after a friendly in Reading.
I love these
And
stories.
then many years later, we were in the club suite. And you gave me your number and you said, let me know where the party is.
Yes, you
Yes.
never did, though.
I never did because I'm not much of a partier.
He kept that shirt. Didn't call me once, but that's okay. Though. Listen, I probably have 2 Union shirts. That's it. Mm-hmm. No training shirts, no shorts. I've given them all away. And there's some shirts I want back. Like, I have this ex-girlfriend have my favorite shirt.
Oh,
I'm like,
no.
Should I call her? Nah. So, yeah, crazy. I didn't even know.
For
So
sure.
awesome.
Yeah, well, looking forward to this conversation. And like we were talking about a little bit, and I love telling people for the first time that I'm from Maryland because, yeah, I do a Philadelphia Union podcast, and they always assume that I'm from Philadelphia. No, I'm from Maryland. And maybe some of my listeners don't know, but before you played for the Union, you started your college career down in College Park with Coach Sasha Sarowski in 2007.
Yes.
And that 2007 team, fantastic. AJ Delegasa, you had Omar Gonzalez, you had Graham Zusi. The list goes on and on and on.
Wallace, yeah.
And I just want to know what it was like playing for a coach in Sasha Sarowski, who's one of the best coaches in college soccer.
Well, top coach is a top leader, and what I would say is the environment, the staff, and how he used the school's resources. So let's say our trainers, all the trainers, because Maryland is really a football school, so they have fantastic football facilities. So we had access to their top coaches, their physical trainers. And when I just went into Maryland, I got with one of their trainers, and they worked with me all summer. So his staff as well, the GK coach, the assistant coach, top guys, and he only came in to make minor adjustments. But I would say you didn't see or hear from him a lot. And when you heard from him, it was usually you were in trouble. But his job was like motivating the team, keeping everybody in line. And he really set the tone for I would say, a high level of soccer. Because even among college teams and even among MLS teams, the Terp soccer is a high level in terms of the whole program. So Sash, he sets the bar very high.
Yeah, I mean, look at all the players that have gone into MLS, yourself included. I mean, the list is endless, and I don't have the list in front of me. Maybe Indiana is the only other school in college soccer that rivals Maryland for how many players they've had go to MLS. But, I mean, Sasha Sarowski is one of the best coaches in college soccer, like I said. I've never heard anybody say anything bad about him. I mean, he's a fantastic coach, fantastic leader, like you said. Another one of your coaches at Maryland, goalkeeper coach, Russell Payne. What was it like training with him?
So he's like a surgeon. So his job, I didn't get too involved because I was a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
I worked with Rob. But agility, skills, these sort of things, he was a lot of what I do now with teams, how I coach teams, how I coach youth players, is from that soccer program. And Russell Payne, how he managed his part of the program was very sharp. He also was, I'm black, he's black. So on the way in, I'm going to tell you a funny story. So before I left Trinidad, Rodney, Lil Wayne was really popular at that time. So Rodney had sent me some some lyrics on Facebook. Facebook had just come out the year before. So as I come into Maryland, Russell Payne, I mean, everybody welcomed me, but Russell is like, hey, brother, listen, we here, we got to work hard. Listen, we got to work twice as hard, And that was him letting me know, hey, even if you feel like you belong here, you got to take it to another level, sir. This is Maryland. So that was his energy, from the very beginning, and it was always like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that some coaches, some players are going to thrive in that environment. Some players are, this isn't for me. But like I said, you couldn't have asked to have gone to a better school than Maryland, and it prepared you for MLS. And not only MLS, but your soccer, the world, and the rest of your soccer career. And you only spent one season in Maryland, but what are some other key takeaways you had during your time there?
So, imagine that Maryland was also my introduction to American culture.
Yeah.
So a lot of things I was interpreting, a lot of things were really, it was inside a school environment, and I was perceiving this as America. So after I left Maryland, my perception of Maryland really changed, and it really was restricted to soccer. I was there for soccer. I really didn't have a social life. I wasn't involved with any other clubs, and I really didn't party that much or at all.
That's a party school. Surprise.
Yeah. So, great campus. I used to have to take a bus 20 minutes to go across. That was strange for me, coming from a country where you could get from almost one side of the island to the other in an hour. But Maryland was great, and I was lucky to have gone there.
Absolutely, and like we also mentioned, you played for the Philadelphia Union in 2011, and before that, you started with Long Island Rough Riders. You played from 2008 to 2009, I believe, and then somebody in the Union found you and signed you up for the first team.
So I'll tell you the story. Again, Maryland top program. So when I was recruited to Maryland, I was doing really well in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah.
I was on an undefeated team, and I started playing for such good teams that professional teams were knocking on the door. So Rob and Russell, they recruited me, but Rob is the GK coach. So Chris Seitz, he went to the Philadelphia Union. He had some rough moments. Zach McMath was the
another
number
Maryland
one draft.
guy. Yep.
So I wasn't drafted. I went on trial because I left Maryland, and Rob hadn't seen me for many years. I was doing well at Adelphi. But anyway, so he knew me personally. He trained me. He saw me. He knew exactly who I was. And he said, hey, you might be a good fit for the Union. And in my last season at Adelphi, when I thought everything was done, life is always going to progress, but as far as soccer, I didn't know what my next step was. And then I got a call, hey, tryouts. Rob reached out, so I went down. The coach was impressed, but that's how I ended up there. Rob saw me, he knew me, he believed in me. I went in. There were a couple of games. I had to go in and earn it.
Yeah.
Rob didn't bring me in and I was in. Rob gave me a chance to be seen. It was a great environment. But Rob is the guy who brought me in.
Awesome. Love to hear it. And like you said, that connection to use Rob to gift you an opportunity to play for a professional team. It's why we're all here, right? To make connections at this convention. And I know you handed us your card, and we'll talk about what you're doing outside of playing soccer. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. But 2011, you play for the Philadelphia Union. Don't make any first-team starts, I believe, in 2011 for the MLS season.
No,
you played against Everton, right?
Yeah, that was great. So Everton.
Playing against a Premier League team, come on.
We watched those games on TV, right? So this is the thing. So my coach comes in, he says, Thorne, you're going to get the second half at Everton. No, I'm the third string keeper. Now, this is the thing. A lot of people might look at my record and they might not be impressed. And it's okay. I don't need to have a conversation with them. But as a goalkeeper, it's the process. This is the process, right? So we have our captain, DP, Farid Mondragon, right? He's a captain. He's starting, right? And we have the first draft pick. He's Zach. He's second. And then we have Thorne Holder, like, super great. Listen, I'm in company with great men here. And not only that, I come with my own strength, you know? So they say, Thorne, you know, you're getting a half. I'm grateful, more than grateful. I'm ready to dominate. I'm ready, you know, because, you know, we all trying to win. We all trying for it to be a better team. So you want to go out there and try to win the starting position. And if you don't, hey, you give it your best try. So I went out there. Zach kept a clean sheet in the first half. Great. I went in, and there was a couple of moments. I had to make a decent save. So, save, we won the game, celebration, great moment. We won against Everton, and I made a great save, right? Highlights in the career. So, I'm living in a dodgy little area in Philadelphia. You know, little poppy shops here and there.
Where at?
This is in Kensington.
Oh, yeah.
Kensington. This is the business end of Philadelphia. So, all right.
Beautiful in the summers.
Yeah, Margaret and Orthodox. It's not. It's close enough. So, I go to this grocery in the morning to get some OJ and stuff, and the guy is looking at the newspaper and he's looking at me, looking at the news. He's like, "Yo, is that you?" I'm like, "What?" So on the back page of the newspaper is me making that one-on-one save with my shoulder off a corner. So yeah, that's it. I mean, a lot of folks watch the game on TV and they have they are fans of people like Ronaldo and Messi and these things, and it's fantastic. These guys, these are two guys. This is like gods of soccer. Most of us enjoy the moments, you know. So for me, as someone who's played the game for 20 years, 15 years, those are the little moments that that really say, yes, absolutely go after professional soccer. You may not be Messi. You absolutely can, but there's only room for one every 20 years or so. But there's a whole lot of other stuff to enjoy, and that Everton game was definitely one of them.
Man, I bet you the people back home, they were so proud of you and everything. I mean, obviously they're not watching this on TV, but if they look online on the internet and everything and say, oh, Thorne Holder got game time against Everton. Made a good save. Like, I'm sure people back home were so happy for you.
Absolutely. You know, I mean, this is the other thing too. Football could be very isolating, right? So your friends and your family back home, they got stuff going on. You know, I'm not over here watching what my accountant friend is doing. And most of my friends are not soccer fans. They're really not interested in what's going on. But the world now, 10 years later, with TikTok, how it works, YouTube Shorts and Reels, there is a lot of room for soccer players to engage. Whereas on a daily basis, and it's happening. You see it's happening. You see on a daily basis the MLS, the Philadelphia Union, they have clips, they have questions, they have all these types of things. So that's awesome because soccer players leave home. That's the nature of the game. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, sticking with the topic of that 2011 team, man, that looking at the roster, more could have been expected from you guys, but I mean, there was some great players on that team back in 2011.
Yeah, one of the most significant.
What was it like playing with some of those guys?
With Letou? Sebastian Letou?
Yeah.
You see,
Danny Califf, Carlos Valdez.
All of those guys are fantastic, but Monsieur Letou is Monsieur Letou. He's a brand. And he was, remember, the Union is starting off 2010.
Yep.
You know, 2011. I was there in 2011. Letou is a personality. You see, you need personalities in the game. This is borderline show business. This is performance work. This is not just strong guys doing fitness, you know, no disrespect to a marathon, but this is much more dynamic, right? So this is personality, and Letou is absolutely interesting. And okay, I say this, the professional environment is fantastic, all right? It's where you have the best of science, the best of athletes, and the best in terms of soccer, mindset, and philosophy coming to try to make things happen. So most teams have a great environment. What's interesting are the little quirks of these players, these people, and these quirks, most of them are going to remain among us, you know. But I guess guys that speak Spanish, English, guys that don't speak any English. What else? I would say Carlos Ruiz. I'd say as a goalkeeper, he's one of the most dangerous persons I've ever faced. It's like, I don't know if you ever had somebody pull a gun on you. But if you can imagine that, if you haven't, that's what it's like when Carlos Ruiz picks the ball up. It's like somebody has pulled a weapon. But yeah, everyone, man. You see, we were a young team coming together, great coach, great staff, and everyone was kind of really figuring out how to become great, how to continue to be great, and so on. So that was the environment.
For sure.
Yeah.
Speaking of quirks, talk about how it was playing under Peter Novak.
Yeah. So, well, again, I'm gonna tell you, a staff, right? The head coach, he runs the ship. He's like the captain on a plane, and you have management and staff and stuff in business class, and then this is not in rank. This is just position, and then you have the players. They're over here, so the captain gives the orders. The relationship dynamic is much different than most people think. This would happen for 10 years. You might get to know your coach better. But the first 2 or 3 years as a young player, your coach is your boss, and you agree with everything he says, and you love it. And in my experience, I haven't had a coach that, that I've disagreed with. I think most players might have had 1 or 2 fitness sessions too much. We might complain about that. We might have wanted to have a day off when we had to go in early. But Peter was a player's coach. Right? There's some coaches that might be a little bit distant. But Peter spoke to you. I remember Carlos Ruiz was leaving. He was scoring too many goals. He got a great offer, and he was leaving the MLS. And they were trying to get a striker to come in. So they say, Thorne, we got to let you go, buddy. We need your international spot. We're going to bring in an international striker, to replace Carlos. He said, but if we don't, we'll bring you right back. And they didn't. They found Freddie Adu, who was a U.S. citizen, and they brought me right back that summer. So I would say a player's coach because he could have gone and got Freddie Adu and gotten another striker. He didn't need a third goalkeeper, at least not an international. So that's our relationship. I thought he managed the team well. I thought he managed the personalities well. I thought we all got proper chances, and I thought it was a great environment. Yes. So yeah, I know there were some things that occurred. I have no idea about those. I saw some stuff in the news about lawsuits and so on. No clue.
But from your experience, great coach for you, and he kept his word. Said we'll bring you back. Brought you back into the team, and yeah, I mean, what a team that was in 2011. What about Keon Daniel, your countryman? How was he?
Yeah, Daniel. Listen. I spoke about personalities, right? And Latu he has the personality of a star. He embodies it, he likes it. And Keon Daniel is more reserved. He's like a puff adder. Not a serpent that swivels around, but very deadly, So, wise fella, sneaky soccer player, and a good friend. He doesn't say much. He doesn't talk much.
He did not.
Doesn't talk much. He talks with his feet. But he's back in Trinidad, and we talk from time to time. But yes. So, before we wrap up, this is what I'm up to now.
Yes.
This is what I'm up to now. So, goalkeepers have always been, they've always been kind of left behind unless they get up to like a top club with a GK coach. So I'm building a GK school.
Let's go.
Thorne Holder is building a GK school. So
In Philadelphia.
in Philadelphia.
In Philadelphia.
The
Even
base
better.
is going to be Philadelphia. In Philadelphia. All right?
Gonna have a couple goalkeepers coming through playing for the Union.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. So I'm going to say it here. Ultimately, we're not going to be competing with the Union's academy and what they do with their goalkeepers. But maybe at some point, they would outsource goalkeeping expertise to my goalkeeping school. That's ultimately will be, that's where the standard of the school would be in my, what's the word I'm looking for? We'll find it next week.
We'll find it next week. But Thorne,
Yeah.
fantastic catching up with you. I'm sure, there's OG Union fans like Billy. My listeners know I came in 2017, so I had a lot of catching up to do with those older teams. But it's a pleasure to get to talk to you, to revisit some of those older Union teams. And I know for some listeners, like, oh, don't remind us of those dark days. But like we said at the beginning, you got to embrace your history. And you were part of the team year two. And thank you for your service for the Union.
Too. Yeah, fantastic. And what's your name again? Todd and Billy, thank you guys for having me on. If you guys want to find any of my goalkeeping stuff and what I have going on, it's Holder Keeper. Holder Keeper. At Holder Keeper on Instagram or YouTube. You can find my stuff there.
For sure.
All
We'll
right?
be sure to put it all in the description. But again, Thorne, thank you so much for joining us.
All right, Billy, listen. Take a picture with that jersey and send it to me. I would love to see it.
I saw it.